EricaRhodes with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, speaking of Me Too, another lawyer has dumped Harvey Weinstein. Attorney Jose Baez has asked a New York judge to let him off the case 6 months after Weinstein hired him. Baez, who represented Casey Anthony in her murder trial, cited a strained relationship with the producer. He writes, quote, Mr. Weinstein has engaged in behavior that makes this representation unreasonably difficult to carry out effectively and has insisted upon taking actions with which I have fundamental disagreements. Now, Weinstein hired Baez and Harvard University law professor Ron Sullivan after attorney Ben Brafman left the case in January. Sullivan then left the case last month. Weinstein is accused of forcibly performing oral sex on a woman in 2006, raping another woman in 2013. His trial is set to begin on September 9th, and he has no lawyer.
Well, Sullivan got forced out by like the Harvard student pussy body or
is that
something.
What it's called?
Yes.
Technically.
Fucking pussies are like...
Is that like the Hollywood Pussy Posse?
They found it problematic that somebody was defending somebody that they didn't like.
Yeah, I could see that.
I have sad news for all the young pussies out there. Many people who are going to trial did something you disagree with, thus the trial.
Thus they're
on
there.
trial.
What are you going to trial for? Saving indigenous people.
Well, wait a second.
Oh, yes. Brought up on charges.
Huh.
Saving too many puppies.
Okay.
Being awesome in the first degree.
That's right. Yes. Many people who go to trial are accused of something that you don't agree with.
something
So
heinous.
get used to it, pussies. This is going to crop up a lot in your life.
And if you're in law school, you should know this better than anybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being dad of the year does not get you hauled into court.
I thought all lawyers were good people.
They're at least greedy. But either way, that guy got run out because his students didn't like that he was defending Harvey. The first guy, Brafman, according to Mark Geragos, was good. And like when Mark Geragos goes, that guy's good, you better stay with that guy, and then you don't. That's an issue. Maybe he's going to have to go to the law firm of Sloppy and Seconds. You can have that one.
Oh, thanks.
I like when I take my mid-level jokes and bequeath them upon you. You can use that.
Okay,
it's not funny enough for me, but you can use that. But Weinstein, he's a guy who is a blowhard, I'm sure, has tons of opinions, and he probably feels like he knows his way around this world.
Yeah.
And he's probably, it's not like when a jock gets into trouble or a sea captain gets into trouble where they have their own expertise, but it's not this world.
Yeah, they hand over. Well, remember when Harvey wrote that email and everyone said, please don't send that, and he sent it to everybody?
Probably knows tons of lawyers and tons of whatever, and he's like, I can handle, no, listen to me, or I got a feeling for this one.
I negotiated multi-million-dollar deals out of my way.
Right, and there's nothing lawyers hate more than you kind of grabbing the reins and blazing your own trail. They're all like, listen to me, don't talk about this, do what I tell you to do.
Wasn't that the cliche? Like, the plumber, the person like over the plumber's shoulder, as they're working on whatever, and it's like, what's the price? Yeah, it's this much if you leave me alone, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's $100 and $150 if you help. It's essentially is the joke.
I can have that, Erica.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, use that one
my
too.
act for me. Why doesn't he just go with Bill Cosby's lawyer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't they just go with the same guy?
What I've learned from talking to Geragos, so Bill Cosby had a lawyer. The lawyer got Bill Cosby into some sort of hung jury thing, and he did clear the first hurdle, and he was theoretically a free man. Bill Cosby, whoever was running for DA of Pennsylvania, ran on a platform of, you vote me in, I'll retry Bill Cosby. Which I don't know. I know we're talking a lot about weaponizing the government and the FBI and the CIA and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that you should be able to run on a platform of, you vote for me and I'll go back and get that guy and we'll do this thing again. And they did vote the person in.
That was Trump's platform. Lock her up.
I know.
But she's still free. What the hell?
Now it's lock him up. I'm just saying everyone's doing everyone's bidding. The FBI and CIA was going off Trump. Now Trump's getting them to go after Hillary. Like it's a slippery slope. But
not great.
they're going. So they vote that person in. That person does retry Cosby. Cosby goes with another. And I don't know if he goes with another or they're tired of doing that dance again.
They did their job.
According to Geragos, that's a big mistake. Should have went with the first guy who got him off the first time.
Right.
Knows the trial.
Right.
Knows the material pretty well because they were there for the first dance.
Play
and
the
they
hits.
Seemed to be effective and went with someone else. Now he's in jail.
Now he's giving weekly inmate lectures.
Right. So
How long is he in jail for?
Oh,
I think
I don't know that he's going to see the outside of that place.
Oh, really?
Well, he's already elderly.
But I thought he was only going for like a year or something.
no,
much longer.
He's not.
15,
He's not in
20-ish?
Club Fed, and he's in for a while. Like
Sorry,
he's in
Erica.
for I think
Aw, darn.
I think something like 8 years or something. But
Okay, 8 years.
I think it's hard to tell because I was going through it with Geragos at some point, and memory seemed to be like 8 years before he gets a shot. But his guys are trying for a retrial, I think, or they're working on a retrial. Either way,
This comeback tour is going to be sweet.
I don't think he's going to have a lot of good days outside of prison ahead of him.
Yeah. Well, sticking with this just a little longer, 8 women have accused screenwriter Max Landis of sexual abuse and psychological manipulation in a Daily Beast expose. This is the son of John Landis. One of the women claims Max sexually assaulted her while she was drunk and incapacitated. She says she filed a police report against him in 2008, but it was dropped. 3 women allege that Max choked them, while one said he raped and humiliated her because he wanted to have sex with her while she cried. Max is best known for his screenwriting
Oh, they
work.
all cry.
Max Landis' victims?
When they're getting choked and raped. I know. Isn't that the
ladies.
worst?
God, it's very un-John Landis-y, but
Let me just tell you this part. So he wrote Chronicle and he wrote Bright. Chronicle had Michael B. Jordan. That was 2012. Bright, 2017. Joel Edgerton, Will Smith. And the director of Chronicle tweeted that he had banned Max from the movie set.
He's
and that he
eccentric.
100% believes every word of this article. Brian may have a little inside knowledge. Kaylin might have a little inside knowledge. We're in the Hollywood orbit here.
what do you know?
Kayla knows much more than I do, but he's friends with Anderson, our mutual friend Anderson from Loveline, and he is apparently very eccentric.
I met that guy at a party once.
Max Landis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found him irritating.
Okay,
Did he come on to
lines
you?
up.
No, but he was very, very he was very much like, look at me.
He was big.
He was very much like needing a lot of attention, kind of.
Why do they drop the charges? Why did they drop
I
the
don't know.
original charges?
I don't know. We can find out maybe.
Chronicle was a very good movie.
All right, well, I'll
He's
forgive
young.
him.
He's only like 30, right? Or younger?
Yeah, he's a young guy.
He's a young kid.
And Kaylin, of course, has not a Kaylin Bean connection, a Michael Bean connection.
My dad did a movie with his father, John Landis, in the late 90s. It was called Susan's Plan. It was my dad's first and last foray into the comedic scene. But yeah, I met Max at a Comic-Con in 2016, and you guys both pinned him pretty well eccentric. When I met him, he had like long rainbow-colored hair with like half his head shaved off. So, made quite the impression.
Is it possible he was just a little spoiled?
Well, they were talking about this on Gary and Shannon yesterday on KFI, and they were talking about these other inside stories that, like, he would have his girlfriends over for dinner, like, with the Landis family, and at the dinner table, he'd, like, smack food out of the girlfriend's mouth and call her fat, and, like, in front of John, in front of the family. I think he just might be wired a little
Who went
nutty.
weirder, the Landis kid or Nick Cage's kid?
Oh, Jet?
I'm gonna
Nick Cage's kid went pretty far
Jet
out.
is John Travolta's kid.
Oh.
Was John Travolta's
Was,
kid.
right.
I'm gonna say Landis because he's embroiled in potentially a
Scandal?
crime, whereas at least Cage might be an act. It
If
might be
I
a
found
stage.
you yesterday and presented
I
this
know.
to you,
In that case, I might go with Cage's kid.
so
Kal El Coppola? Is that
I
the
don't
one?
know, but that kid went south big time.
That looks like him.
Who's
Yeah.
that? Is
Sort of
that
Nick Cage,
Sort of a death metal rocker.
Oh.
I've told my son many times, you start going,
There you go.
you go Landis. I'll show him a picture of the Landis kid and the Nick Cage kid. And I've told my son, I'm straight up with him. He's 13. I said, look,
Yeah.
you go down that road, I'll have a fucking hobo kill you. I will pay a hobo to kill you. And if anyone asks me, I'll deny this shit. And if anyone plays me the tape of me talking right now on this podcast, I'll deny that shit too. I'm denying it now.
You don't seem like you'd have kids like that, though.
No, my son is Max Patta. How straight is Sonny? Like calling a Mike Mr. August and like asking if he can do stuff all the time.
Very respectful. He won't even drink a soda or get a soda. He's like,
does he play baseball? I feel like I picture your son playing baseball.
He has decided that's too boring for him. But he likes sports and he's super square and he's super nothing.
Baseball's too boring, but yoga's too dangerous.
That's right.
So somewhere in the middle.
That's what
maybe he's onto something.
He's announced. But I've told him there's two things. You go Landis or you go Cage, I will have a hobo kill you, number one. And number two, if you ever get those big bore earrings, those big hoop bore things where you stretch those things out.
I don't like those.
At events or gatherings, when you bring home your girlfriends, I will fuck your ear. I will penetrate that opening.
They told me not to swear on this show.
Well, I will, and I do, and I'm sending a message to my son. So those are the two things you need to avoid.
Yeah.
But they're pretty avoidable.
I think as far as Sonny goes, I would be more afraid of getting the earring than being killed by a hobo. Because I would not want your penis in my ear.
Yeah.
Well, I said I'm going to try. I don't know. It's going to be hard. I'm going to be drunk, and I'm going to running start, and I will be
Stand
dressed.
still, boy.
It'll be Thanksgiving or some
Right.
event, so
Sure.
I may be wearing trousers.
Makes
Adam.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Nicolas Cage's son, though, kind of looks like he cleaned up his act. He's married.
Oh,
Wow.
He went full
Cut his
Momoa.
hair.
I don't like this.
Not sure about the hair.
wow! So he got out of the whole goth rock scene and got his
Yeah.
hair cut and grew a beard. And
I still think he plays in a rock band and everything, but he's just.
but he went Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
He's no longer Rob Zombie.
He's gone straight.
right.
Wow.
He looks like a grown-up.
Yeah.
He's an adult now.
He had a phase.
Oh.
He was very
Yeah.
Rob Zombie-y for a while, but then he just went Joey Fatone.
Piercing eyes.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Kaylin, can you give me a copy of Susan's plan?
For next Baldywood.
So he's being what's up? Is he going to get arrested?
Well, this has been breaking literally in the last 48 hours. So there's not a lot of extra details right now, but this expose just came out in the Daily Beast.
Landis got brought up on murder charges, or at
That's
least
right.
manslaughter
That's right.
charges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
His dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, for Twilight Zone and Vic Morrow and the helicopter crash and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So it's kind of weird. It's pretty, for the Landis group, it's kind of weird that there's that kind of crime in there.
Well, there's also,
History.
and Brian, I feel like you'll be able to, because this is literally just off the top of my head. Was it Emma Thompson who wrote an open letter about working with John Landis?
Oh,
who's saying
God.
like, I would never again, I wouldn't encourage my, I want to set an example for my daughter. Am I
With
getting
John
this right?
Landis?
Yeah, am I getting this right?
Not the
Chris?
son.
I think
No,
Chris has to-
no.
I think Chris has to look that
This
up.
was from this year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was
Whoa.
Emma Thompson about John Landis, but I
Footnote,
will
though,
double
it is
check.
kind of funny. Erica is indicative of most people don't know the crazy Twilight Zone story. Like, that was a major scandal
Yeah, I don't
and
remember
a
that.
tragedy. 3 people died
But
through
wait,
negligence.
Oh, really?
Do you know the
Yeah, I
story?
don't remember the story.
They were filming a Vietnam flashback scene with Vic Morrow, who was a pretty established actor at that time, and 2 Vietnamese kids, and he was like scooping them up in a river or something, or a lake or river or something, a pond, and a helicopter was supposed to crash behind them. Helicopter didn't crash like it was supposed to, and eviscerated these 3 people. Yeah.
Oh my
And there was a whole
don't-
scandal where they were working past overtime, or the kids weren't legal, or there was a whole fallout from the scandal.
Jeez.
A domino falling effect.
Yeah, I don't even know. You got to look it up now, Max. I don't want to see the footage of it, but I don't even know if the helicopter was supposed to crash. Like, it was hovering.
Oh.
And he was collecting the kids. Like, I'm going to get on this Huey helicopter, and they had concussions, like explosions going off, and it was like in a
was a war
soundstage
scene,
or something. It was like a war scene. So it was like explosion, hovering helicopter. Vic and the 2 kids, like, underneath the helicopter, one of the explosions went off, knocked the helicopter off its Garrison
jeez.
keeler, off its keel, and the blade just literally went across him and the kids, and I don't want to see footage of it, Max Bada, but it just eliminated them both.
No.
And that was a major motion picture. That was The Twilight Zone from 1985 or whatever it was. And they were still didn't release that scene. Obviously, they still released the movie. Vic Morrow as a complete total pall over the whole the whole project.
But how is that John Landis's fault?
He was the director.
He was the director, and he should have done it. I for some reason it may have been in a soundstage. I don't know. He should have been whatever. There were
More
overtime.
careful.
They should have whatever. They should have used a stuntman instead of Vic Morrow.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of stuff.
There were a few issues.
Oh, geez.
There were issues.
That's horrible.
Real quick, I want to jump in and make a big correction and a big apology because that's why I said I thought this sounded right. Emma Thompson wrote that letter about John Lasseter.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Different John.
And then there's Eunice Landis. It was
Excuse me.
human trafficking. Look it up. That was the mother. So there's a rich.
The apple is
on.
not far
Crime.
from the tree.
Oh,
No, that's all we got on Landis, right?
That's all we got on Landis.
All right.
So officials in Philadelphia said Tuesday that more than 15,000 kilos of cocaine.
You can use the Eunice Landis joke.
Oh,
and
thank
stand
you.
up.
I hope. Why isn't she writing this down?
She's committed to memory.
She'll listen to it later.
It estimated $1 billion with a B dollars were seized by the federal authorities at one of the city's shipping ports. Among those arrested in this huge bust were a second mate and a crew member of a shipping vessel. The drugs, which is about 16.5 tons of cocaine, were found in 7 shipping containers late Monday night. U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania tweeted, quote, "This is one of the largest drug seizures in the United States history. This amount of cocaine could kill millions of people. My office is committed to keeping our borders secure and our streets safe from deadly narcotics." 16.5 tons of coke.
You know, they always talk about how many people it could kill, but how many producers could get laid?
That's true.
Let's take a look at the happy
How many songs would
side
get
of
played
it.
on the radio?
Yeah, how many very deep conversations with people you don't know
Yes.
that much?
How many new friends will you
would
make
be
in the
had?
bathroom?
Right.
How many ADHD kids are going to be treated?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Don't say that part.
It's always the negative part.
Yeah.
You know, it seems to me as long as we take like fairly poor people like merchant marines and stuff and we ship them to places with a lot of cocaine and not a lot of laws,
These types of things.
They're gonna
this is going to
haul
happen.
this back.
I feel like it's a recipe for that.
Yeah,
Yes?
you might be onto something.
All right.
So, Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club, the show on MTV, apparently lacks drama so much that it's being canceled. MTV announced that the show, filmed at her nightclub in Mykonos, Greece, will not return for a second season. Neither will the club itself, which is actually already closed after only 1 year of business. The show followed the staff's daily lives, but MTV says there wasn't enough drama to attract a steady audience. As a result, viewership plummeted. And I never saw it, but from what I read, it was really just her screaming at the staff for like 27 minutes each episode, and people weren't into it.
That's not enough drama?
I think that's what they were hoping
The
for.
show goes away the same day that 16 tons of cocaine go away.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
A little ironic.
Then they said they were going to spin it off to, her relationship with her mother. I don't think there was enough interest there to get that going.
Max Patty got the Twilight Zone crash story.
Yeah. Okay, so first off, John Landis violates California child labor laws by hiring these two child actors without permits. And then Vic Morrow. So the scene with Vic Morrow was he would be running across a shallow river while being pursued by U.S. soldiers in a helicopter. And supposedly, right before he does this shot, his last words to Dick Peabody was, "I've got to be crazy to do this shot. I should have asked for a double." And there was a lot of concern about the blast and everything. So anyway, this helicopter flies over a mortar effect, and the mortar effect goes off, hits the tail of it, and the helicopter spins out of control, lands on Morrow and the two kids with the blade flying off. It decapitates. It decapitates the Morrow and one of the kids, and then crushes the other one, and they all died instantaneously.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be just a bloodbath.
Yeah.
There.
And he made movies after this?
Morrow? No.
Yeah, I think that was
Landis,
his last,
yes.
I think that was Morrow's last one.
That was his last film.
Yeah.
Be
But
specific, please.
Landis, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't know, they brought him up on manslaughter or maybe even murder.
There was for sure a long trial.
Yeah.
And he got off?
Still around.
Still in jail? No. I mean, yeah.
He went on to make Sarah's Plan with Michael Biehn.
Jeez.
Yeah, Landis's career was not significantly affected by the incident, although he did say in 96 there was absolutely no good aspect about this whole story. The tragedy, which I think about every day, had enormous impact on my career, from which I may possibly
But
never
at least
recover.
Keeler's off the streets where he can't do any more damage.
Exactly.
Him and Al Franken
Jeez.
in a cage somewhere, locked away where they can't hurt any more kids.
Yeah, so yeah. Walk around feeling better about that.
All right, let's do one more, Gina
All
Graham.
right. One more. All right, here we go. So it's June. It's summer vacation time for a lot of people, and there are many things that couples fight about on vacation. But according to a new study, the biggest thing that couples fight about while they're on their vacation, any guesses?
It should be money, but
How much you're spending?
it's probably, that's too
Sometimes
easy.
you feel kind of numb to it. I'm like, oh, what the hell? We're on vacation.
I'm gonna
That's
go.
too easy.
I'm gonna go something very modern. Being on your phone too much.
Okay,
Oh,
closer,
that's a good-
warmer.
It's a good call. Yeah, being attached to the office or
That's
business.
it. Working and calling in to work while you're on vacation. 54% of the respondents in a recent survey by consulting firm Korn Ferry said they have gotten into an argument with a spouse or significant other about working too much while they're on the vacation. The survey polled over 1,000 people, and this was in May, found that 45% of respondents checked in with their office multiple times a day while they were on vacation. Of all those surveys, not one person said they totally disconnect from work while they're on vacation.
Well, it kind of depends how the relationship goes. Like if one person is the breadwinner and the other doesn't make any money, then that sort of onus is on that person. And then if you're going out on nice vacations, like I've kind of talked to guys, they're guys like, I don't know, the aforementioned Mark Geragos. Like they just have to know when something
Sure.
drops, and they're not in control of the schedule. Stuff comes out while they're
Right,
out.
right,
You know, they don't know. Like you go, well, they may come back with a verdict in 2 hours or maybe 2 weeks. Like we don't know.
He's off the hook.
And then when they come back,
Yeah.
he's got to be back,
Yeah.
or he's got to be made aware of it. But I do know that like the more powerful the person, the more they need to be reachable. But I think there's a version where you could be reached and you could go, I'll be back, or here's what I have to say about it, and then hang up. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to continue to do work.
Well, and there's the flip side. It almost feels like a rich man, poor man, because I'll never forget when I was struggling and working on Rodeo and selling suits and stuff, and I'd finally get a week off for the week and go, to New York to see my friends or whatever. I would get blown up by these guys going, where did you put the 42 long? I'm like, I don't know. I'm
Mr.
not
Blumenthal
there.
wants his suit adjusted.
Exactly. And I would be terrified because it's me. So of course I did something wrong and the world's going to end. But I was so irritated and infuriated. How the hell should I know? I'm not there.
Well,
Can you take care of that hem for me, please? I'll be back next Thursday.
I'll tell you one conversation I had with a powerful lawyer guy, which is, so it's kind of a two-way street. So he would say, he was a partner in some law firm. It wasn't Geragos, but he'd go like, I'm going to Italy for 2 weeks, but I'll have my phone if you need me. Something important, hit
Right.
me. He then consequently had a young junior lawyer from years ago. This must have been 15 years ago. Announce he was like going to Yosemite for 4 days and not to call. Like he told
Not
all the
reachable.
senior guys. He told all the senior guys, "Do not try."
Wow.
Did they
'Cause
say,
I am
"Do not
picking the
come
phone
back"?
up.
I didn't call him to come back.
Well, the thing that's interesting is the boss always has a great memory, and the boss is always sort of picks out stuff, and he just went, okay, that guy's going nowhere in this company. And the guy didn't have to announce it.
Yeah.
The guy could have just
Yeah,
not picked
not
up his
picked up.
phone, but he went and announced it to everybody that you don't even try. And this guy, years later, still talking about this memory of this young kid that's stuck in his craw. And I know that if you talk to guys like Kimmel, they will tell you specific little stories about little people way down on the totem pole making proclamations that stick in their craw and they remember them forever. And I don't know why people are so hell-bent on doing damage to themselves, but people do that all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
And again, announce you're going on vacation and announce you'll have your phone and then don't pick it up. And you're junior enough guy that no one's going to need your input on some big case. But you had to go announce to everyone to not bother you.
That have been known.
It's a weird thing, and it happens a lot.
Is that leaving your phone out so your wife sees your mistress's text messages? Or is that just being a moron?
I will take a deeper dive into this tomorrow, but Mike Lynch and I were working on some book outline or something, and we submitted it to somebody, and the somebody, publisher, whoever, had like the millennial read the outline. And it's a good outline because I did it and because Mike Lynch did it. And the millennials' critique was, I don't totally hate the idea. It was like, but here's why it's no good. And I thought, oh, this is what 23-year-olds do. They just tell everybody what exactly they're thinking all the time. Because everyone has always told them you're an equal, your opinion is valued. There's no hierarchy, there's no ranking, there's no general and no privates. We're either all generals or all privates. I have hired a couple of 19-year-olds, and they fucking suck. I mean, they're pain in the ass. I mean, they're fucking worthless. And they have no qualms, like telling you to your face, like, I don't care for this, or I don't want that, I don't like your tone, or whatever it is. I mean, they're fucking horrible. What do you got, Max Banner?
Well, we just forwarded the email to Dylan. He just messaged me as you're saying this. These notes are insane. I cannot fucking believe this kid. It's really crazy. So, I mean, I don't even know what you got. I haven't read it yet, but Dylan, who is, in
our response to that outline,
is saying that the notes that Adam got are insane.
From the 19-year-old?
It could be 22. I don't know, but it's like, I don't hate it, but it's not funny, and then you could do better. And it's like, I'm on the New York Times bestseller list ×4. I don't know how many notes I need to take.
Why are you getting notes from a 19-year-old?
Because everyone wants to run it up all the dumb fuck flagpoles out there. So they're like, hey, you're 22. Hey, we want to sell to 22-year-olds because everyone wants to sell to 22-year-olds. So then we empower and embolden the young fucks by getting their input on everything.
And they don't read. No 20-year-olds read.
No. But
also, this is a book?
A book?
We'll take a deeper dive into it tomorrow, but it's funny. I don't care.
I just read
Chris is bemused.
What are one of them?
He just wrote, I think this problem arises from Adam speaking to millennials as an expert. As a millennial, it annoys me very much when older people try to explain to me about millennials.
There it is.
Oh
there it is.
That's it.
That hurt.
That sentence doesn't even make any sense.
It's perfect. But it's perfect, and it does.
Yeah.
It's a bullseye.
Yeah. Now, the bigger problem is that we're supposed to give a shit what this fuck thinks. That's the problem. That's the bigger problem in our life. It's our fault. We embolden these guys.
Yeah.
These guys show up and they think they get a vote. So I don't think we're going to go in that direction with the book.
Oh no.
But it's just funny to me. But we'll take a deeper dive into it tomorrow, and we'll have a laugh. It'll be funny. Anyway, yes, we've ruined a generation of young people. I hope there's no more.
Millennials aren't even young
fight.
anymore. They're old. They're like 40.
Well,
They're getting there.
I don't know
Almost
whatever the gen is, but if
Gen
you
Z.
What is the next generation?
Yeah.
I don't know. You shouldn't know.
You shouldn't know.
No, you shouldn't know your own gen, because then you go, as a Gen Zer, I can tell you, and it's like, shut up. I'm already tuned out if you tell me as a.
They're Zennials?
I think it's Zennial.
But I don't think Al Sharpton should speak for black people. He's one idiot black guy. Why you speak for black people? What? I don't get why anyone speaks for any group. You're a Dumbo 19-year-old, you're a Dumbo 24-year-old, or you're a Dumbo black guy, or you're a Dumbo Hispanic. Who do you speak for? I don't get it. It's dumb. It's the ultimate white privilege is not having anyone speak for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
You go, you're a white guy, that's a white guy, and you go, Donald Trump, he doesn't speak for me. And then you go, Joe Biden, that guy doesn't speak for me. You just go, he doesn't speak for me.
He's a white guy, so it happens to be.
Yes, that's it. All right. Generation Z is after millennials.
Okay.
All right. Did we bring it home, Gina Grad?
We'll do that right now. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I will fuck your ear.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.